The Swedish government is preparing the ground for the transfer of Gripen fighter jets to Ukraine, Politico has reported. However, the AFU will start using them only in a year. It will take so long to train pilots and engineers. Stockholm, the high-tech Swedish Gripen fighter jet, developed during the Cold War, may for the first time in history take part in a hot conflict with Moscow. In recent weeks, the Scandinavian country's centre-right government has been cautiously preparing the ground for a possible transfer of aircraft to Ukraine, following the example of European neighbours Norway, Denmark, Belgium and the Netherlands, which have previously signalled plans to transfer Lockheed Martin's F-16 fighter jets to Kiev. Earlier this month, Defence Minister Paul Johnson said he had instructed Sweden's military leadership to explore various types of supports for Ukraine's fighter capabilities, including exporting or donating Gripen fighters. The military must report back by the 6th of November, Johnson said. In the analysis, we will look at how this will affect our defence capabilities, including both operational capabilities in the here and now and long-term military finances, he told reporters in Stockholm. The discussion around the Gripen has unfolded in the wake of the F-16 decisions. Stefan Ungert, an air defence specialist at the Swedish Defence Research Agency, said it was only a matter of time. If Sweden decides to send the planes, experts say, they will be able to take to the skies of Ukraine in about a year, as pilots and engineers will have to learn to work with unfamiliar systems. At the same time, their impact could become tangible. Even a relatively small number of aircraft, say 10 pieces, will be of great benefit to Ukraine, both operationally and morally, Ungert said. The Stockholm transfer of the Gripen is being discussed against a backdrop of worsening doubts in Kiev about the durability of Western military support, especially in the United States, where House Republicans are increasingly opposed to further aid. The recent re-election of Robert Fico as Prime Minister of Slovakia was also greeted with dismay. Fico had promised to end military support for the eastern neighbour, but in Sweden, as elsewhere in Northern Europe and the Baltics, where geographic proximity to Russia has heightened long-standing security concerns, support is not waning. Support for further arms supplies to Ukraine among Swedish citizens holds high among other European countries, according to polls, and Defence Minister Johnson has pledged that his government will not veer off course. I know there is a view that the ground is shaking under the international coalition, but I don't share it, Johnson said. We are among the countries that have stepped up their support, and our 14th aid package should be seen as a signal of Sweden's willingness to work for the future. Sweden has already sent Kiev portable anti-tank missiles, armoured vehicles and an artillery system. The 14th aid package included spare parts and ammunition, among other things. Popular support is particularly evident in the capital, where residents gather in the central square every Monday to protest against the Russian special operation. From the podium, former member of the European Parliament, Gunnar Hökmark, urged compatriots to focus on the conflict and not turn away. And from the crowd, 70-year-old pensioner Sture Wickman said with conviction that Sweden should hand over the Gripens. It will be better not only for Ukraine, but for the whole of Europe, he said. If it loses, we all lose. President Volodymyr Zelensky has long made it clear that his military wants the Gripens, with experts estimating that he may request between 16 and 20 aircraft. During an August visit to Stockholm, the Ukrainian president called the Gripens the pride of Sweden. This is the kind of pride you should share with your friends, he said. The Gripens could significantly strengthen Ukraine's control over its airspace. The fighter is considered relatively cheap and easy to maintain and can be operated from shorter and narrower runways, including unprepared ones such as straight stretches of motorway. This reduces the risk of aircraft being concentrated at a large base and destroyed in a single enemy strike, analysts at the Royal Institute for Defence Studies noted in a report last year that the Gripen was specifically designed to counter Russian fighter jets and surface-to-air missile radars. And in Saab's promotional video, the pilot lands directly on a motorway in southern Sweden and quickly brings the vehicle to a halt. The Gripen's capabilities are extremely relevant to Ukrainians, said Saab spokesman Per Henriksson. Perhaps most importantly, the Gripen was originally designed to counter threats from Russia. The aircraft has already been successfully sold to countries such as Brazil and Hungary, and observers say that if it is deployed to Ukraine and performs well, it will only enhance its reputation. However, there are some concerns about a baptism of fire in Ukraine. More recently, in May, Johnson said Sweden could not afford to send the Gripen to Kiev because its national defense strategy has long relied on aviation, and weakening it would be an unjustifiable risk. By August, however, the pressure on Johnson's ruling moderate party and Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson had intensified, with junior coalition partners, the Christian Democrats and Liberals, following the Social Democrats, the largest opposition party, in demanding that Sweden send the fighter jets. "We cannot allow Russia to win," Social Democrat leader Magdalena Andersson said at the time. The Gripens will be of great importance to Ukraine. However, both the government and the Social Democrats put forward one condition in order to send the Gripens. Sweden must become a full member of NATO and obtain mutual defense guarantees. However, Sweden's NATO membership is still being obstructed by Turkey and Hungary. In a square in the center of Stockholm, a Ukrainian boy sang his country's national anthem while supporters waved Ukrainian flags. Pensioner Wickman said he understood Sweden should be careful not to be left vulnerable by sending planes, but now we must help Ukraine first and foremost, he concluded.